Integrating CiscoWorks with other products. Now, even though CiscoWorks is a pretty good product in its own right, large corporate companies probably have some other network management tool in place, monitoring and managing their network devices. And for this reason, Cisco provides an integration utility so that CiscoWorks can communicate with the third-party application. And speaking of third-party applications, the integration utility can communicate with Tivoli NetView, Computer Associates Unicenter, Fujitsu System Walker, and HP OpenView Network Node Manager. Now in this video, I have a copy of Network Node Manager installed on this server, so I'll use that so we can see how integration works, but the process is the same for the other packages. Now the most important thing to remember here when you are setting up integration with other products is that the integration component, which we actually installed when we installed CiscoWorks from CD1 in the first video in this series, it must be installed on the Network Management Product server, which may not necessarily be the CiscoWorks server. Now in my case, both products I have here installed on the same server, so it doesn't matter. But if you have Tivoli NetView, for example, on a separate server to where your CiscoWorks server is, then you'll need to install the integration component on the Tivoli NetView server. Now if, by the way, you don't yet have a separate network management solution, or perhaps you do have one and this is your first CiscoWorks server and you're wondering where to put it, well, I'll advise that you don't install them both on the same server. Well, you can install them on the same single box as I have done here in my lab, but in a real-world scenario, installing two critical network management applications that will have pretty high CPU and memory requirements on the same server isn't a very good idea. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at how you can install the integration component, since mine occurred automatically when I installed CiscoWorks. So the first thing you're going to have to do is log on to the server you want to install it on, which would be your Tivoli NetView, HP OpenView, System Walker, or Unicenter server, and then drop CiscoWorks CD1 in that server's drive, or have the files available on a network share. Now I'm just going to go to my CD-ROM and I'll launch the setup wizard for CD1. Alright, now because I already have a network management system on my server, which is HP OpenView Network Node Manager, CiscoWorks Setup has detected this and suggests that I should first stop the Network Node Manager services. But since I'm not actually going to install the integration utility here, I'm just going to ignore this message and click Yes to continue. Okay, so the wizard now starts, so we'll click Next, we'll choose a custom installation, and we'll choose Next again. Okay, now all we have to do is check the top option here, which is to install the NMS integration utility, and then click Next, and just follow the wizard prompts. And that's it. It's really easy and quite quick. Okay, well let's get started with integrating CiscoWorks with my network management product. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is to go and stop HP OpenView Network Node Manager from running, because we're about to update the connection between the two products. So I'm going to go and click on Start, Programs, I'll come down to HP OpenView, Network Node Manager Admin, and I'll choose NMM Services Stop. Alright, now our services have stopped, so I'm going to click on Close, and now we can launch the Cisco utility to change our integration options. And by the way, you don't have to remember to restart all the HP OpenView services. The integration utility will do it for you automatically once the process is complete. So we'll come down here and we'll click on Start, Programs, CiscoWorks, and then the top option, Change Integration Options. And this will fire up the Java-based utility where we can now configure communication between the two products. Okay, now when we want to change our integration options, we have three ways that we can do this. CiscoWorks wants us to tell it where it can find an updated network management integration data bundle it will use to be able to establish this link between OpenView and CiscoWorks. Now, we can either update the data using a text file that we have stored locally, we can use Cisco Connection Online, or we can download the files using FTP. Now, since I don't have a text file locally or a specific FTP server in mind, I'm going to use the middle option and connect to CCO. So all I need to do here is to enter in my CCO username and password and click on the Get NMIDB button at the bottom, and it will connect to Cisco and download what it needs. Now this will take a few minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in my details here, click on this button, and I'll pause the video and return once this download is complete. Okay, we're done. The data has now been downloaded from CCO and extracted, so we'll just need to click on OK and then click Next. Now we'll need to tell our utility here where the CiscoWorks application is so that we can launch either Cisco View or RME from within HP OpenView. Now under the server field here, we'll need to enter in the IP address of my CiscoWorks server and the port number of 1741. Now we can leave the browser field here as it is, pointing to Internet Explorer, but if you prefer to use Firefox or a different browser, well, you can simply change this to point to the browser of your choice. Now finally, we can set this application as the default application that gets launched from within HP OpenView Network Node Manager when we double click on the icon. Alright, now we'll click on the RME tab and we'll enter in the same details, but this time we won't set this to be the default as we already set Cisco View to be the default application. So in the server field, I'll enter in the same IP address followed by 1741 as the port, and I'll leave our browser as it is, and we'll simply click Next. And we're just notified that there has been some changes. Do we want to accept our changes? So I'll say yes. Okay, now we can choose which application we want to integrate with. And obviously, your selection here in this left-hand side is going to depend on what application and what version you're running on your network management system. Now, since I'm running HP OpenView Network Node Manager, I'm going to select NNM Adapter, and over here on the right-hand side, you can see that this is for HP OpenView. Now, if you don't actually see your version listed here, yet you have an adapter script stored somewhere else, you can come over here and click on the Add button and then install it that way. Okay, so if everything looks okay, we'll simply click on the Integrate button, and we will be warned that this can take a while, so we'll click Yes to start the integration. Now, this will take a while, I'm telling you that now, so I'm going to pause this video here and we'll return once the integration process is complete. Okay, we're done. The integration process is now complete, so we'll just click on OK. Now that's all there really is to integrating these two products. As you've seen, it's not a difficult process at all. Now if we go and click on Start, Programs, HP OpenView, Network Node Manager Admin, I'm just going to go and launch HP OpenView Network Node Manager. And if everything worked as it should have, at the top right of our menu here, we'll now see a new menu, Cisco Applications, and from this menu, we'll be able to launch CiscoWorks 2000 from within Network Node Manager. So as you've seen, the integration process between CiscoWorks 2000 and one of the 4 network management applications that's supported by CiscoWorks isn't a terribly difficult thing to accomplish. The main point to remember from this video is that the integration component must be installed on the network management server and not the CiscoWorks server, unless of course they happen to be the same machine. Now in the next video in this series, we're going to take a look at creating and managing inventory lists with CiscoWorks.